Hi there, I'm Ahsan Ali Shaw, and you're watching me on YouTube and Facebook Live. Today, we are going to talk about mental health, significance of mental health, and how to improve it. And when I say mental health is emotional, psychological, and emotional, psychological, and social well-being of a person. And mental health comprises of four main elements: realizing your full potential. It means working on yourself and you recognize your potential and work on yourself. It's the first element. And second is learning healthier ways to deal with your stress. You don't have to rely on drinking uh, and uh, and other drugs to deal with stress. You manage your stress by healthier ways. And thirdly is doing the productive work. And fourth is making contribution to the society. Working on yourself, dealing with your stress in a healthier ways, making doing the productive work and making contribution to the society. If a person is moving and leading in the right direction, so we can call it a person is mentally healthy. And this is a simple definition of mental health, or uh, a person doesn't have to fall different ways. They have different people define mental health in a different way. This is the standard definition of WHO. Anyways, uh, how to improve mental health? You can improve your mental health by many ways, like exercising, walking, spending time in nature, eating chocolates, doing things that you love. These are the healthier ways to improve your, and there are many other ways, and we are going to discuss it in detail later on. And today we are going to have a roundtable discussion, and my guests are Jackie McGraw. She has joined us from Gold Coast, Victoria, Australia, and Gary Murk. He has joined us
Queensland.
from Edmonton, Canada, Alberta, Canada. How are you guys?
Very well, thank you. It's a
Yeah,
beautiful
Uh,
day here.
yeah. It's
it's
been
a
been a
cloudy
beautiful
day here.
day in connections of everything. So it's doing well, doing well.
So mental health, and I think last week the last time we were together live, 2 weeks ago, and we were also talking about mental health and how to improve your mental health. Nature is the best medicine,
Mm,
Gary.
mm. Oh yes. Without nature, what do you have? Really, when you think about it, with what being stuck in a four by four wall and corners and isolation, that's not a solution. Nature has always been the source of medicine. It's always been the source of inspiration, and it's been the greatest source of love of all life. This is where humans fall short. We don't see it for what it truly is. We only see it for what we can take, what we can abuse of, what we can control and own. And this is something that we don't own. We don't own the planet, we don't own nature, and we don't own any other life other than the life of self. And if you're not in connection with the life of self, what are you going to do? Starts with you.
Yes,
It starts at the
yes,
very, very core of what your heart is saying, what you're doing with the foods that you're eating, what you're doing with the interactions and the engagements of the peoples around you. If you choose to
yes,
stay in the low vibration of negativity, well, yeah, your mental health is going to take a big, 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 big hit, because now you're in the worries, you're in the panics, you're in the fears, you're in the programmation of what they want you to see and what the system wants us to see. What we need to see is that the truest source of healing of mind is what we have within our heart, to acknowledge our vulnerabilities, our sensitivities, our traumas, our triggers, and to see that It's not holding on to the past that's the solution. It's seeing the wisdom that you've gained from the past that is part of the solution. It allows you to choose rightly. Your heart sees. We all know that. In fact, it's scientifically proven today that the heart sees 5 seconds before even the eyes and the mind begins to process. But once the mind has set in and begins to process, it pushes the heart frequency down. It pushes, the voice of the heart. And the voice of the heart has something to say to you. It says, you know what? I want to slap you in the side of the head and say, look at me. Look at yourself. What are you doing to yourself? Where are you going with yourself? What are you doing with your mind? What are you doing with the foods? What are you doing with, the toxic relationships that you keep? You have the right to stand strong to self. Nobody can take that away from you. Nobody. No matter how hard you will be knocked down, no matter how many traumas you have in your life, everything is taking process for you to become stronger, to have a stronger heart vibration, stronger heart frequencies, and to understand that kindness begins with you. Sure, we've all been knocked down. We've all been tested of our mental capacities. We've been tested by the governments. We've been tested by those that we thought we loved. We've been tested by those that we thought were friends. We have been tested by many, 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 many things. But the greatest test that we face as a human is the test of self. Your heart is so powerful that even when it hurts, it's still trying to lift you up. It truly is. You just don't want to see it. And so we run for a quick solution. We run for pills. We run for, all of the psychiatric, all of the things that pulls us away from the truth of what has already been said. Your heart has already spoke. Did you hear it? Did you hear what it was saying? Did you hear the tears that the heart was shedding? This is part of the tools. Part of the tools is that nobody listens today, yet listening heals. It allows us to share a story. It allows us to see that we're not alone, that others also have their story, and the similarity is the emotional intelligence that each of us holds. We lose this emotional intelligence because we only allow the mind to turn around and take control. Yet the heart is saying, no, breathe, slow down. Yes, I'm hurting. Listen to me. You're going to be okay. But we're so caught up in an impatient system that we no longer even have patience of self, especially with today's generations. In my generation, I was grown up and I was shown patience. I had no choice. You know what? You don't rush your meal. If you finished first at the table, you sat while the rest of the family was there. Okay? Because we all spent time together. We all spent communication together. And in an era that I grew up, didn't have this technological bullshit. Okay? That is separating us from truth of communications. How many people can walk down the street today and tip their hat and smile and say, good day? I grew up with this. I grew up with strangers acknowledging as you pass before them. And in today's world, we don't acknowledge that anymore. We don't even acknowledge humans. We only acknowledge what we can own and buy and the corruption of the systems around us. Yet the truth of the heart is where, Ahsan? It's within you. Jackie, it's within you. We come together with these table talks because it's truth of heart. We believe that we can raise this heart vibrancy, this frequency of love and acceptance and surrender and understanding and patience. Okay? And this is part of it. The part of the ascension is the strength of your heart. Because in order for you to rise through what is about to be coming as the time will come forward, it's going to take your heart. It's not going to take your mind. It's going to take the power of your heart to rise through the truths.
Kenny, you have been talking very well, and you have been lifting the spirit of people every day. yeah, at night. And thank you so much. And uh, you have gathered in your group a lot of beautiful souls,
Hmm.
and they are all of them are amazing. And when we talk about mental health, and Jackie, the question is how the role of heart, how important it is for the mental health,
The role
the
of
role of
heart.
in the mental health.
Oh, it's really important, isn't it? Because it's all like Gary's saying is coming back to yourself and feeling, just feeling into yourself. We're so out of ourselves at the moment, you know, and the word mental is really interesting, isn't it? If you break it down, mental,
Mm.
you know, it's those voices that we're listening to. It's our thoughts, you know. If we can just be quiet and just feel into ourselves rather than listening to all the self-talk, the talk from outside, and just tune back into ourselves, you know. What Gary was saying, you know, walking along and just smiling and connecting, I'm actually seeing that a lot more when I walk, but then I purposefully do it, smiling to people and connecting with, you know, looking at their eyes and giving them a smile as I go past or saying hello or whatever. I'm kind of seeing it a little bit more than before all this stuff started, because
Mm.
I think people are now realizing the importance of us all connecting and really being kind to each other in some way. Not everyone, of course, but then you have to realize some people are really still so much in their thoughts, being scared and vulnerable, and you know, and stressed out, like you say, with anxiety and depression and things like that, and just uncertainty at the moment. So you have to understand where they're coming from as well. But you know, yeah, our heart is everything. If we can be kind and give and just have love and compassion for everyone, knowing that they're going through their own journey, is paramount to getting through this stuff, I
Mm.
think. Really paramount, and doing everything that you can to nurture it. Keep your body clean as much as you can in as far as what you're putting into it. And I'm not just talking about food and water and getting enough sunshine. All those things are really beautiful. Just the thoughts, what you're watching, what you're allowing to come into your body at this point in time, that will protect you at this point in time. And just having an outlook that things are going to get better. They will get better. Everything's a cycle. Things will get better.
Mm.
Yes, indeed. And when we talk about mental health, uh, laughing, smiling, a little smile on your face, it just has a great impact on your mind. And the people you are smiling with and you are sharing laughter with, it also raises energy and spirit and gives you a motivation to keep going in your life.
Mhm.
Gary,
Very
smiling
much.
and laughter,
You know,
it's
smiles
the
take,
best medicine.
it takes 10 muscles to smile. 10 very small muscles of all the 45 that are within this complex structure of your face. You hide your body with clothing, but your face is out there. Then you cover your face with, well, we won't go into that side of things. Okay? But sometimes it's not about what's going on right now. You're already with a mask. You're hiding from self. You look at yourself in the mirror and you go, oh, I got to change this, and oh, I got baggy eyes, and oh, I got gray hairs, and oh, I got hair growing out of my ears. Well, you know, it's part of the aging process. I mean, by God's sakes, you know, you look at it and say, okay, there's a curly that's there. Well, okay, you know, you pull it out, careful though, because if you do it wrongly, you don't want to get an ingrown hair, because now you pay the price for being harsh to yourself. Okay, and then this is in everything. You know, it's not just, as Jackie was saying, foods and in the mind. It's also what you're putting on your body. You have no idea the clothing that you wear that could be releasing chemicals that is affecting your mental psyche, that's affecting your physical health. We all want to wear the labels because, hey, it looks nice, right? Okay. But maybe the chemicals that was used to create that clothing are leaching to your skin. Your skin is absorbing this. So it's having a ploy upon the overall health of this vessel, this beautiful vessel that houses your heart and your spirit and your soul. Jackie said that, she's starting to notice more people in acknowledgement, but is it maybe because she's acknowledged more herself? And she's acknowledged herself in the love of self, the love of heart, the love of, who I am. So she's reflecting this as she's walking. I truly believe that we are a beacon. We can be a beacon for that of the negative as much as we can be a beacon for that of the positive. There's a phrase that says, the more optimistic you are, the more that good things and good people will be drawn towards you. Because you know what? You got to smile. And sometimes even it's not the physical smile. You got to smile in your eyes. There's a twinkle that says, I want to know what's in that magic that's within those eyes. Why are you got this magic in your eyes? And I look at myself in the mirror and I go like, I can't see anything. But you have the same magic. What you're seeing is the desire, the wanting, the need of. And in a world where we've separated from all that is important, we're only fixed on all that is not important. That is, the mind. I was going to say that word, but I'll try to hold back from it. Okay.
Yeah.
I look at something over 20 years ago. I'll go back even further. Okay. I spent a good deal of times, as being a mentor and part of many 12-step programs, whether it was Alcoholic Anonymous, whether it was CA, whether it was NA, whether it was codependency, or whether, there was a lot of different programs that, I was being a mentor for. And every story that I heard every Tuesday night for almost 18 years always came down to one thing: the emotional overload of the way that everything around us is being bombarded upon. We allowed the choices to engage in the negativity, in the pessimism, in the control, in the foods that we're eating, in the water that we're drinking, in the air that we're breathing. We feel that we're living in a beautiful city, but yet we're smelling pollution. And pollution that's affecting not just the physical body, it's affecting the mind. Okay, the chemicals in the airspace, if you analyze a great deal of them, you'll see that they have a direct effect on mental capacity and mental stability. The waters that you drink are chlorinated, fluorinated, and everything else that's in there is also affecting the physical body and the mental capacity. And now you cook in that water and eat foods that don't even have any nutrition. They look good on the shelf. They've been brought to market green. They are now ripening in the store and coated with all sorts of chemicals. Okay, you walk into a food store and you see the misting going down on all the fresh vegetables, you think it's just water. Well, no, it's an antibacterial, antiviral. It's got lots of other things in it. So, the idea of wash your foods is very important. But the food that you're washing is only part food. It's been brought to market without the proper or the right nutritional values. So feeding yourself rightly is feeding your mind. Okay, you can grow your own microgreens. It takes a couple of days, not even a couple of days. Some microgreens will grow within a period of less than 36 hours. You can let them grow a little bit longer, and now they're a little bit more mature. These are fresh, natural antioxidants, vitamins, phytonutrients. They're brain power. Okay, so you've gotten it fresh from source, but there's also a little bit of magic there, something that you grew yourself. There's an appreciation. There is a welcoming, saying, I grew my own food. I know exactly what's in that food. And when I taste it, my taste buds are alive, and I feel the energy, and I feel this nutrition coming into my body. You can't tell me that you feel that nutrition coming into your body by what you're buying in the supermarkets. You bring it home, you cook, You fill yourself up, and do you feel good? Do you feel empowered? Do you feel energetic? Do you feel your mind at ease because it's been fed the proper nutrition to help deal with the emotional overload and the emotional challenges? If you are not feeding yourself rightly, there's no way that the mental capacity is going to be at its peak efficiency. It is going to be lowered into a very low vibration, and now you are susceptible to that negativity. And thus, what happens? The whole mental capacity is whacked right out. And now you're trying to climb this ladder. You're trying to pull yourself out of this darkness that's surrounded yourself, but you've only surrounded yourself with it by what's in your mind. The ability to acknowledge what's in your mind is the ability to listen to your heart. Your heart is telling you something. So when it goes like this, guess what? It's telling you something. It's saying, step back, slow down, breathe. So if you keep running with it, not only are you running to a mental overload, but you're running to a heart overload. And this is
It
where
can be.
the mental afflictions now become a physical affliction. You become physically sick
Okay.
because
Yes,
this is spun out of control.
yes, indeed. And it raises another very important point that your positive attitude and positive mindset and your behavior towards life, your attitude towards life is also very important in building up your mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Jackie?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot, isn't it? You've got to think when we're born, we're not born with all this stuff in our head. We're
No.
not born with mental illness. We're born perfectly, and it's only the influences that we've allowed come into our life that have an effect on our body chemistry and everything else we take in. Positive attitude is everything, and it's not always easy, for people that get to a depth where they feel like there's no way out of it, and sometimes that happens gradually, as with programming over time, with what's been happening for many, many decades. Slowly, people are just becoming suppressed and oppressed, and without even knowing it's actually happening, and then getting to a point where, and this is not just by mainstream media and things like that. I'm talking about ourselves and what we allow to in our lives, in our working lives, slowly become, before we know it, we're in this maybe dark spot and we don't know how to get out of it, and we have to remember it's just little steps, just take one step at a time, know it's going to get better, and whatever's done can be undone. So all those influences within our body, our thoughts, the food that we eat, all the chemicals in our body, all the toxins, everything like that, all the chaos that's in our body at the moment can be undone.
Mm-hmm.
So you just got to do it slowly if you need to, detox your body, detox your mind. Often mental illness too can be caused by just toxins and parasites and things. So,
Yeah.
think about, they create chaos in our body, parasites and toxins, of course, because they go, like Gary was saying, they're straight to your nervous system. Imagine that chaos, that vibration that they're causing, and suppression of the normal way that we work. Our body is always fighting to get back to balance and homeostasis, but when we're at a certain level, maybe with anxiety, where it creeps up and up, and our new normal levels up here, so it's just a process now of getting your body back down to balance, so that you can have a calm, functional, perfectly healthy body. You can get back there. It's not going to happen overnight sometimes, because it's taken a long time to get there, right? And we're still every day are being bombarded by all the chemicals. So we need to do, it has to be a conscious, constant thing for us, to get back. But positive attitude, so important. And
Yeah.
the smiles, like you were talking about the smiles, Ahsan and Gary. One thing that somebody said to me, a psychologist actually, he said, even if you go for a walk at night, smile, put a smile on your face, no matter how bad you're feeling, because the smiling in itself, just the smile in itself, releases chemicals in your body and will be doing something on a subconscious level. So just I used to walk along thinking, oh my God, I got to smile, not feeling like I wanted to smile, but I just did it. I just kept doing it and doing it and doing it. And I'm sure it had a huge effect. So you
Definitely.
just do have to be positive. And well, that's not, I feel like that's a flippant thing to say, but it's just little things. Even if you can just recognize one bad thought and just think, okay, how can that thought be better? How can I just change that one thought around, and just be aware of your thoughts and what things are doing to you. And even if you sit quietly and let all the thoughts arise, anything, just let everything arise, and then notice, is that like a productive thought, or it's not so productive for where I am? And how could I possibly change that around just in this moment in time? And just the more awareness that you bring into your body and your mind, your heart, just really feel it. And is that good for your soul? Would your soul really be appreciating that at this point in time? And sometimes it's good to step out of yourself as well and look at
Yeah.
yourself from outside. And how would you talk to that person that you loved so dearly? That was your best friend, that was your best mate, how would you speak
Yes.
to that person? You wouldn't be hard on that person. You would be encouraging and kind and compassionate and loving. So try and see yourself from that aspect.
Jackie,
The old
what I
saying is
gather
treat
so far.
others as you would have you
Yeah.
treat yourself. Is that not
Yeah.
Yes.
true?
Mm.
Yeah. Jackie and Gary, what I have gathered so far uh, about mental health and how to improve it, it means that the more you are aware of yourself, the better your mental health is going to be. And just like focus on your breathing, it may
Mhm.
seem a very simple thing, but when you focus on your breathing, it calms down your mind. Isn't it true,
Very,
Gary?
very true, Asan. The whole focus. Some say, well, you're focused so much on yourself that you're self-centered, and often your egotistical ways, and there is that side of it if that's where we allow it to go. But if you've truly looked at yourself and acknowledged yourself, you'll see inside that mirror exactly who you are. And now, how do you want others to see you? It's not about trying to prove anything to anybody other than yourself. If you're well with yourself and you walk with your truth and your head high, not with your nose in the air so that when you take a shower that you drown. No, with your nose at a level where you're breathing and you're taking in life and the breath of life about you. This is medicine to the soul. This is medicine to the mind. Because once you're in this vibration of it, you will see the magic that nature has before you, the medicines that it has before you. And what you took for granted, you now see what it has for you in heart. By opening up that essence to self, to see clearly, even if you make your mistakes, you own it. No matter what relationship you're in, you put 100, whatever you put into it, you own 100%, good or bad, same as the other. So this trinity of this relationship is based upon three parts: you, the other, and the relationship between. That includes the relationship with self. Is the relationship with self a soft, silky, comforting warmth? Or is it a ball and chain that's dragging you into your yesterdays and your traumas? Or is it, a tug rope where you're fighting with yourself and you're sabotaging yourself? Because it's not the other that's sabotaging yourself. You're sabotaging yourself by your own engagement. You have the choice to engage or disengage. Doesn't matter if the other is going to point to you and judge and decimate you because they see you're not listening. If there is a danger for your mental health and your physical health, you have a choice to make. You either engage in it or you disengage. And the disengagement is self-preservation, is respect of self, is love of self, regardless what the other is pointing to, regardless what the other is saying. I say it many times. What you see is quite simple. Here, take my glasses and put my glasses on, because that's what you see. That's not what I see of self. So if you want to stay in that, that belongs to you. It doesn't belong to me. What belongs to me and what belongs to every human being is the actions of self, because it produces a vibration and it produces a frequency throughout everything that you do. So it is engaging your energy with the energies of life. The more we raise this love vibration, the more we raise this vibration of peace, the more that the earth is responding to us with peace and with this vibration of love. It works. It goes both ways. My opinion, of course.
Yes, indeed. As I said earlier about breathing, when you focus on breathing, and it calms down your mind, and you realize that how fortunate you are to inhale this oxygen into your body
Mhm.
and exhale out of your body now. And you realize that you are fortunate to be alive, and you start complimenting, you start recognizing the benefit. The exact word would be the depth of life, or the beauty of life. The beauty of life, I think, is the appropriate word here. And
The
when you
simplicity
talk
of
about,
life.
yeah, simplicity and beauty of life, and you start focus on your breathing, and Jackie, forgiveness, and many there, not everyone's life is perfect. There are many things are happening around us, and there are many people. They are simply the system, as you talked about earlier, the government and what is going on currently around the world. I don't wanna call the name, but the things that are going around us, they are also impacting our mind, whether you pay attention on it, whether you intentional or unintentional. All of these factors, they are impacting us. Now the question is, how do you get yourself away from it and focus on your mental health?
You don't, for a start, you don't engage, like Gary's saying, you don't engage in that whole conversation. You know, you take yourself away from it. You take yourself away from social media as much as you can. I mean, it's a big part of our lives. It's really difficult to take ourselves away from social media. But don't click on those, you know, posts that come up that you know are going to be disturbing. That's a thing at the moment that I kind of fight with, because it's like, oh, you go straight into, oh, and then you just think, no, don't even go there, because you know what it's going to do to your body, just and your mind and your thoughts, and it's a waste of time. You know what's going on, right? We all know what's going on, and let's not engage in it, as Gary says. And so, you know, going back to, you know, your I guess it's hard, because when you go out, you're seeing people with masks and things like that on, and it's all a reminder, isn't it? And all the signs everywhere, and you get messages from everyone, and you know, it's really hard to disengage. But it's like I've said before, if you're in on your own big bit of land or out in nature, none of that exists unless you want to purposely drag it in. You know, we have
Mm.
to take responsibility for ourselves. There's no blame outside anymore. Let's just take responsibility for ourselves and what we're engaging in and what we're choosing to engage in, because that's what's bringing this reality into our lives.
Mm.
Really, you know, if we think in the way that everything's an illusion, and create our own illusion, create our own moments, our own. I think Carol was saying that too. She does that every day. She creates every moment in her life, and we all do. So let's choose what way we want to live our lives and what we want to invite into our lives, and we know, like, this is a really amazing time to be alive. It's really challenging for many, many people, but challenge is not bad, really. It's not bad, but we just have to choose what we're engaging in, our thoughts, just honouring ourselves, respecting others, love, kindness, compassion for everyone. Just know that everyone's on their own journey, and that the breath is really so important, because breath is life, isn't it? No breath, no life. And by just having that conscious awareness on breath, you're breathing in prana, your life force, right? Life force from the universe, from Mother Earth. You're breathing all of that in and connecting into your body. If you can see that each breath is so important, and honor that and respect it, and know the gift that it is, then you can concentrate more on those things, I would think, in your life, on the sunshine. When you're out in the sunshine, it's like, a friend of mine used to call it a sungasm, because it was like, that's what you feel when you get out there and the sun's shining on you. How much better can you feel? The gift that it's giving you, the warmth, the light, all the vitamins that you need, what it does for plants. So they're giving you the oxygen. Just feel the connection in your life, and just respect that everyone's going through their own journey, and just, if you bring that into your life, it's a ripple effect, It does affect other people because it's affecting your vibration. Therefore, it's affecting the whole vibration of the earth.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do that. Those of us that know to do it, let's just do it, and keep an awareness of it, so that we're holding space, for others as well.
Yes,
when we
indeed.
look at the vastness of the universe, we are but a dust particle in comparison to all life. Just a dust particle. But our dustiness has a vibration. So it does have a dominoes effect. And it affects others that are around us. So the more positive we stay, the more optimistic we stay, the more we search for the beauty in life by just breath alone, the more we raise this vibration, and the more we connect to the higher purpose of this vibration. This higher purpose of vibration is your higher self. It is not about floating up into the stars. It's about being with you in the moment where you are, in this physical matrix reality, surreality, whichever way you want to look at it. You are here in this beautiful time, a golden era, where we have the capacity to come together as one peoples in one world with one purpose: to raise the vibration of love. Not love as we've been programmed to understand it, but love in the understanding is that it's love that is the energy, it is the core of life. Without love, I don't believe that life would exist. It takes two humans to come together in a moment of mutual respect and love, and life is created. That life is born in the essence of love. It breathes love. It's welcomed by love. Male or female, that motherly hold is something that we men don't really truly understand, because we only understand one thing as men. We were in a womb of a mother for 9 months, and then we were taken out. And then for the rest of our life, there's part of us is trying to reconnect to this womb. And we do it in the roundabout ways. We do it through sexual predation. We do it through many things that we've totally lost this connection of this uniqueness of a connection between a male and a female. This connection Brings us back to that spark of life, that spark of love, that moment that we floated in nothingness. Well, we got bounced around a little bit. Mummy maybe ate some hot peppers and gave us a little bit of indigestion, but we had no worries. We floated in hyperspace, cushioned from everything that she was seeing on the outside world. If she was in a moment of distress, we felt it. So there's already a memory that's been preset, a feeling, an acknowledgement, something that my mother became stressed. So maybe is there something that's, put a little bit of a trigger in me. So it's a warning symbol. So that if I acknowledge it in my life, that now where I've left my mother, I can see it as the trigger. Now is that what I want in my life? Do I want this offbeat vibration? Do I want to be in the toxicity of conversations and the toxicity of peoples that are lost in their own way? We all get lost. And then we eventually, hopefully, we find a way back to source of self. And the only way to find back the source to self is breathe. Slow it down. Take a breath. It's a new story, a new beginning. It's a new moment to either love yourself or hate yourself. There really isn't any in between. There's some grayness and some gray zones in between there that you sit in limbo. But now you're analyzing everything that's going around. And you're analyzing the wrongs and you're analyzing the negativities. And you know what? You take that word analyze, A-N-A-L, where the devil is your head? It's up your rear end. You've dug yourself so much into the shit that you're allowing to be accumulated and bioaccumulated into your life through verbos, through foods, through space, through the environment that you house yourself in. So where did we learn how to sabotage ourselves? This is the most mind bewildering aspect of being a human. We were kept in love, birthed in love. Now all of a sudden we're outside of the love and we find ourselves surrounded with all of the sabotage. Where did it go wrong? Where did we disconnect from the source? We disconnected from that source the moment we allowed the toxicity of that around us to say this is what life is. Yet nature has been telling you that no, the birds are still flying above, the flowers are still growing, the animals and the aves and the mammals, from the flora to the fauna, is showing you life is still evolving and that it's in constant evolution. But we disengaged from that because our priorities became money, control, ownership, everything that we're now fighting against today through the world powers. We allowed it to become part of our own life. We felt that I bought this, it makes me feel good. So it made you feel good for a second and then you're right back again. So you go out and buy some more. And then the credit card bill comes. And then you look at the credit card bill and you go like, what the fuck? Okay. And now you've set yourself back again. So all of it is based upon the sole responsibility of self. You are responsible for everything that you engage in, everything that you accumulate, everything that you absorb. It is by your choice. So choose rightly. Choose to engage with that which is beneficial, not something that is a deficit.
Hmm. Choose what is beneficial, and it's simple. It may seem easy, but
Well,
when
nothing's
it comes
simple
to
about it.
implement, yeah,
The
when it comes
context
to
is simple.
implement it, yes, but when it
How
may
to
seem
implement
easier,
it.
mhm,
There.
implement it in
You,
life.
how do you implement it? By the choice you make when you wake, the choice that you make when you step out the door. You have that split second decision to make.
Yeah,
How do you want to be when you
and
step out?
it comes back to the earlier point. Be aware of your every moment in your life. When you are
Mm.
aware of it, then you can easily implement it and apply it. Those things, your breathing, the nature, the chirping of birds, birds uh, and other sparrows, and they are just flying around. Everything,
The birds, the
the
bees, the
nature,
butterflies.
yeah, everything is around us. You just have to see it. Once you start seeing it, then it calms down your mind. And mental health is not a big issue if you just focus on it. If you are aware of your thoughts, and
Ah,
yeah,
there.
and Jackie,
There's
Jackie,
there's a key right there. Be aware of your thought.
yes,
Is it
be
good
aware of your
intention,
thoughts.
good thought?
Mhm. Is a good thought or bad thought? You just
Hmm.
last week I was talking with Melissa, and she pointed out a very interesting thing. Be aware of your thoughts and start pointing it out whether it's a good thought or bad thought. When you start doing it, and it's an activity, keep it for a few days, then things would start changing in your life because now you are aware of your thoughts. When you are aware of your thoughts and you know what is right thought and wrong thought, and it would help you to make the right choices in your life. Isn't it right, Melissa? Yes, I think. And
See, one of the
yes,
Yeah,
things.
and Jackie, now you have been quiet for a very, I don't know how long, and now
I
it's up to you.
yeah, I agree. You know, it's just those little things: being aware, being responsible. Yeah, and just it's not even, I don't know how to explain it. It's not trying to be in the moment, because when you're trying, you're not in the moment, are you? So it's just a constant, maybe practice of meditation that will get you into the moment. And once you're there, you will just be appreciating all the beautiful moments that are just waiting to be noticed. There's so many, you go out in nature, they're just waiting to be noticed. The thing is, once you start thinking so much about it, it's then taking you out of that moment, if you know what I mean, because you're trying to describe it and, oh, this is so beautiful. Oh, look at that butterfly. It's blue. It's this, it's that. But when you're in the moment, you just feel the beauty of it,
Hmm.
if you know what I mean. So that's almost like a meditation within itself, just to get yourself into a state where you are just appreciating, you feel the love, you feel the
Yeah.
energy, the vibration of everything without having to even, once you start thinking, oh, this is beautiful, aren't I so lucky, aren't I, you're taking yourself out of the moment again. So it really is a bit of a practice to get yourself into that state where you are just observing and no thoughts, because that's how we're trained, isn't it? That's how we're programmed. I guess that's why we come into this life, the thoughts, and then it's getting back to ourself. It's that journey back to ourself,
Back to heart.
back to heart, and
Yeah.
just, yeah, truly back to
Mind,
ourselves and appreciating everything,
Yeah.
mind and
being
heart.
grateful.
They both are connected, aren't they,
Mm.
Jackie? They both are
So,
connected. We talk about mental health, and then we come back to
abs-
heart, listen to your heart, and focus on your heart. And mental health, they both are connected, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's where, our heart is our base. It's like our go-to place for safety and protection and comfort and, love and kindness and compassion, all that stuff. That all comes from your heart. So, if that's, and look, the thing is with mental illness, mental health, it's all what we have been told is wrong with us. Who's telling us that it's wrong to feel like this or that, or have a down moment, or feel a bit
Hmm.
anxious? That's normal. But
Self-righteous SOBs is what it is.
yeah, like, don't put me in a box about this, that.
Yep.
This is like the way I feel things. So it's not always okay. You need something to fix that up. You need something to suppress this. You need something to lift you up, put you down, keep you in the middle. It's just quite ridiculous, really. We're allowed to feel. We're feeling human beings, you know?
It's the choice of engagement. It
Gary,
truly
there's
is.
also, I think there's another problem is when you start controlling everything in your life. I think
Ah,
Mm,
when you
mm.
fix your mind on certain things, it is also interesting to talk about the control factor. When you start controlling things, then and we are variable. Human beings are variable. Everything around us is variable, and things are changing. You can't control anything, and there are things that you cannot control. What is happening around the world, you just cannot control. What's happening in the society, you
no.
can't control it. And when you start controlling it, then your mind is fixed on one thing. Then
The
your mind
only
is
thing
fixed on
you
one thing.
can, sorry, Hassan,
Yes.
the only thing you can control really is what you're allowing to come into
Mhm.
your space,
Ah,
you know, really. What you are allowed to come into your space. So you're right, you can't control anybody else's thoughts, what they do, what you see on TV. It's just what you're allowing yourself to come into yourself. So
it,
And
that's what I'm talking about with take
yeah,
responsibility. There's
how
no blame
Patricia,
outside.
Patricia made a very good point here. The
ah,
only thing that you should control is your own mind. When you control it, then uh, when you control your own mind,
ah.
be aware of your thoughts, then
Is it
I don't
control
think.
or is it
Mhm.
acceptance? There's a
Yeah,
difference.
acceptance is much better.
Okay, because
Yes,
if I try to control my mind, no. If I accept what my mind is trying to show me, trying to what it sees, my heart has already seen something 5 seconds before.
Mm.
Absolutely. If probably in my case, probably even further. Okay, but that's irrelevant. But what my mind is going to allow to take place in that moment is my choice. So if I choose to listen to somebody who is belittling me, I'm allowing it to happen. So I have a choice to make. I have a choice to say, you know what? Stop. And if they don't stop, my other choice is walk away. I could care less if you scream, holler, bite me, push me, beat me down to the ground. I'm not going to listen to your bullshit. I'm not going to listen to you, belittling me because I made a mistake. I owned my mistake. I stood up to it. I said, I made a mistake. What's the solution? But if there isn't a solution that's being talked about, then I have a choice to make. Do I continue to engage in this discussion, or do I walk away from it and keep my integrity intact? Because nobody can say that you have not integrity. Nobody can say that you are not worthy. Nobody can say that you are not beautiful. Because if they do, they're the ones that have a sick mind. They're the ones that have the sick mind, not you. Only if you've allowed that into your mind does that sickness that the other carries, whether it's arrogance, whether it's a sickened ego, you've allowed it into your space.
yes,
You've allowed the other to belittle you, to judge you, to dismantle your self worthiness. In my
yes,
world, try it.
yes,
I might
yes,
listen to you, but
yes,
I can guarantee you I'm not going to lose my self worth.
yes,
I know how worthy of a human I am for me to me. And that being good to me allows me to be good to another. By loving myself allows me to show love for another. By being kind to myself allows me to be kind to another. I don't control if the other will accept it. I don't control whether the other will be willing to see it. I only control what I've offered. So, choice is, am I going to offer negativity, or am I going to offer what's positive? Because if I offer what's positive, I planted a seed. I planted a seed. Even if the other person's spinning out of control, there's something that implements this memory. That seed is planted. In time, it will grow. That's all you can do. But the best seed that you have to look after, the only seed that you have to look after, is not the one that you planted for the other. It's for you. to allow yourself to flower, to allow yourself to rise up from the mud and the murky depths and become this lotus of life. Lotus. There's a reason why Buddha sits on a lotus. There's a reason why the lotus is seen in many sacred geometrics. There's a reason why. It's the flower that raises itself through the mud, through the murkiness, through the pollutions, through every atrocity to rise up and reach the surface. And as it reaches the surface, it opens up a flower for 24 hours. Well, as humans, we have a little bit more than 24 hours. But if you focus on what is coming ahead, then you're losing the magic. You're losing the magic of the moment, of the breath of life in the here and now. This is grounding. This is being in the moment. This is being with self. Is being present with self in the moment of your existence. Your yesterday's gone. You can't change it. Yesterday's gone. You can learn from it. And now, stand strong to who you are. Your truths, your understandings, your desires, your love of life, your love of peoples. I love humanity. I have a problem with human characters, but I love humanity. It's the human character that gets me a little icky at times, okay? Because the character is toxic, okay? The attitude is toxic. The viewpoint is toxic. And you know what? I don't want that in my life. I won't allow it in my life. And I won't, if I'm in presence of another and seeing that it's being put on to somebody else, I will step forward and say, look, you don't have the right to do that to another human being. You don't. And that's enough of my spiel.
Yeah, I think free will and choice are much better descriptions of, of what we should be taking charge of in our life or allowing in our life. We all have free will, we all have choice, and the choices that we have is what we bring into our existence. So being aware of that is pretty paramount in our lives for mental health, especially.
Jackie, there's one thing I wanted to share that we all are fighting something within ourselves. There is a battle going on within ourselves, between our thoughts. I think the good way to describe it. There's a battle going on between our thoughts, and you have to be calm. You have to be kind with your own self, because most of the people, they are very hard on themselves. You just have to be kind on yourself and love yourself, accept yourself who you are, and accept your mistakes. If you have done something wrong, accept it. When you accept it, then you are moving in the right direction. And that's what I think mental health is all about. And Gary,
Accept the very basic that you are perfectly imperfect. Because if you believe that you're going to arrive at the status of perfection in your life, you're going to be running for a very long time. Okay, I'm a perfectionist. Believe me, I'm probably one of the most stubborn perfectionists you'll ever meet. But I also accept the fact that I'm perfectly imperfect and learn from my mistakes and my learnings and everything that I see before me. That I'm not perfect. And what I do is not perfect. I do it to the best of my capacity and try harder each and every time. I try hard when I wake up in the morning. And sometimes, you know what? I have my moments I don't want to smile. I truly do. But I force myself. I force myself to say, no, I can't let this take over me. I can only love myself and accept life as it is in frequent evolution and be part of it.
I think too, what you were saying, Ahsan.
Yes.
Yeah, Ahsan and Gary, it's all about, when you say, we've got to be kind to ourselves because of this and that and outside things, it's what people are telling us. And if you're going to take everything personally, you'll take it on board. And that's when you start feeling bad about yourself. So don't allow people to put you in a box and limit you, and that happens from young, so that can be like an ingrained behavior pattern as well that needs undoing, but whatever's done can be undone, as we've said before. So it just might be a little bit of a process, but we're going to have so many different aspects of our personality. We're all different. That's why we're unique, so we can't be hard on ourselves for these things. Just explore and understand where they're coming from. Explore our beliefs, explore why we feel certain ways about ourselves, and just discover that they're not real. They've come from other people's beliefs putting on us, and experiences and memories and things like that. So we can dismantle that.
Yeah.
We can dismantle, why sometimes it's a bit of a process depending on if you've been through a lot of trauma in your life. So,
Yes, indeed.
to undo these things in our mind, it can be a bit of a process, but so worthwhile. You get there in the end, just as we've said, just little steps and awareness each time, to dismantle. And each time you realise you're having a belief that's, not come from your own experiences and other people and stuff that's been placed on you, just slowly question it, just explore it, and for the fun of it, and see where it takes you,
Yes, and there's a things that going on around you in the society or across the world. They are external factors that you cannot control, and there's a thing going on within you. You shouldn't allow those external factors to change your mood internally. And when you try to build a block, or you try to use some censorship between the external factor and the internal factor, as Gary said earlier, you don't have to listen to the BS of other people. You just
Mm.
have to focus on yourself, on your breathing, and be aware of every thought and every moment in your life, and things would be different. And Gary,
yeah.
your final thoughts.
The key to oneness in life is the understanding is that breath is everything. So take the time to breathe, step back, reflect, see who you truly are, understand your desires and your needs and your wants. And, yes, understand your mind. It doesn't take a lot to understand. You understand what you've been programmed and taught. But now take the time to breathe. Take the time to listen to your heart. Take the time to be kind, generous with yourself. Generous doesn't mean go out and buy a bunch of stuff and treat yourself. No, generous means be kind to yourself, respect yourself, love yourself for who you are in the unique, magnificent creation of life that you are.
Yes, I agree, Gary. And
And
be grateful for who you are as well. Be grateful because that is your uniqueness, like
Yeah.
Gary's saying. Just be grateful for everything that comes into your life, every challenge that comes into your life that will make you grow.
Yeah.
Don't take anything personally, and just, we've heard it before, when people say things to you and put you down and this, that, it's their own reflection that they're seeing. So don't take anything personally. And, that's a big part of growing up, I think, is to learn, to be really strong in yourself and just know that as you are is quite perfect at any point in time,
Yeah.
and something to be
yes,
worked on and worked with, and, and accepted and seen as the beautiful person that you are,
mhm.
just, yeah.
Yes, indeed.
So
And
just one more thing.
okay, final
If
thoughts here.
if you're blind, do you see color? No. If you're deaf, do you hear language? No. If you're mute, do you speak aggressively? No. So look at these three factors. I hear no evil. I see no evil. I speak no evil. Start with self.
Yeah, start with self. And Jackie, your final thoughts.
Yeah, exactly. Like, take responsibility for yourself, what you're choosing to invite into your life. And, take the time to, when you're breathing, breathing is amazing, like we've said. So just really concentrate on your breath and concentrate mainly on when you take that breath in and the pause in between your breath before you breathe out again, and the same as before you breathe in again. Those pauses, just concentrate on those, because there's nothing there. There's nothing there, and it takes you into such a beautiful space. So, yeah, good luck with everything. And if anyone's got problems, just reach out to us.
Yes, please.
You can like us, or you can message us on our own through Messenger or whichever, if you need.
And if you can't find me, you just tag
Oh.
Jackie, or you tag Ahsan and say, look, find Gary, or Gary, find Jackie, or find Ahsan. And you know what? We're going to do this next week again on mental health, because I want to talk about natural ailments that can help, such as foods that you can find locally within your environment, flowers that can help you ease your mind and ease what's going on within. Because I think it's important that we know the natural medicines, because the natural medicines have no side effects. They have none whatsoever, and they have all of the benefits. So I think the ability to share this, okay, openly, without being shut down by social media, because we share something that we know that is ancestrally proven to help ease the mind. It helps heal the body. And this is something I do believe that we need to share with people. It's the natural medicines from the natural world, to let them know that Gaia is not our enemy. It is not something for us to own, but she has a lot of beautiful magic for us.
It's all there for us.
Yes, indeed. And my final thoughts are: be aware of your thought. Nature is the best medicine. When you are aware of your thoughts and you spend time with nature, talk with your friends, and build a block and censorship between the outside world and your internal world. Do not allow the external factors to change your mood internally.
Very
And these
true.
are my final thoughts. And thank you, Patricia. Thank you, Carol. Thank you,
And see you
Adrian.
later
Thank
on
you,
at
Melissa.
9:33.
Yes. Are you still going on later on? Are you still
Yep.
going to? Okay. Thank you. And here, Carol said, get that grin off your face, Hassan. I think my face is like that. It seems like I have something,
Don't
but
change it, my
it's
friend.
not.
Keep on
I can't
grinning,
change
keep on smiling, because you know what? It keeps them out.
it.
It keeps them wondering why.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, thank you.
Keep your
And thank
hands above the
you.
table.
Yes.
I'm not
Uh,
gonna get into that one. I nope.
no, thank you so much,
Yeah,
guys,
see,
for your
hands up.
time and mental health. And we are going to talk about nature is the best medicine, or
Yeah.
role of natural medicine
Natural
in
medicines for
building up
mental health.
natural medicine for mental health next week. And thank you so much for your time. And have a good day, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in your
Namaste.
part of the world.